All right, today we are taking a deep dive into diabetes mellitus. I know, it's a condition that affects millions, and honestly, it can seem super complex. But our goal here is to just break it all down into clear, understandable parts. So let's get right into it. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the body's first warning signs. Then we'll look under the hood to see the glucose gridlock that's causing them. After that, we'll unpack the different types of diabetes, get a real handle on the risks, and then wrap it all up with a practical playbook for managing the whole thing. Okay, let's jump into our first section. Before we get into any of the heavy science, we're going to start with the human experience. Listening to those little whispers and sometimes shouts our bodies send when something's off. So let me ask you this. What do these three things have in common? Being incredibly thirsty, always feeling hungry, and running to the bathroom all the time. These aren't just random annoyances, right? Think of them more like urgent text messages from your body's energy system saying, "Houston, we have a problem." In the medical world, they call this the classic triad. You've got polyuria, which is just a fancy way of saying you're urinating a lot. That's because excess sugar is spilling into your urine and it's dragging water right along with it. All that fluid loss, well, it makes you incredibly thirsty. That's polydipsia. And here's the kicker. Even with all that sugar floating around, your cells are starving for energy, so your brain cranks up your hunger signals. That's polyphagia. It's a real vicious cycle. Okay, so now we know the warning signs, but what's actually causing them? Let's go a little deeper now and uncover what's really happening on a metabolic level. We're heading inside the body to find the source of this whole mess. The central issue, the absolute hallmark of all types of diabetes, is this one word, hyperglycemia. All it means is that there's way too much sugar or glucose in your bloodstream. You can think of it like a massive traffic jam on the cellular highway. Your body needs that glucose for fuel, for sure, but when it just sits there backed up in the blood, it starts to become toxic. So why does this glucose gridlock happen? Well, it really boils down to one of two main reasons. First, you could have an insulin deficiency. Insulin is like the key that unlocks your cells to let the glucose in. If your pancreas isn't making the keys, the glucose is stuck outside. The other reason, insulin resistance. This is where the keys are there, but the locks on the cells are all gummed up. The cells just ignore the insulin, and again, the glucose is locked out. And this brings us perfectly to the different types of diabetes, because even though they all end up with the same problem, high blood sugar, how they get there, their origin stories are totally different. Now, this is a super important distinction. With type 1, it's an autoimmune issue. The body's own immune system gets confused and attacks the beta cells in the pancreas. Those are the little factories that make insulin. So you end up with zero insulin. It's a production problem, plain and simple. Type 2, on the other hand, usually starts as a reception problem. It begins with that insulin resistance, and over time, that can put so much strain on the pancreas that it just can't keep up. And then there's a third common type you'll hear about, gestational diabetes. This one is pretty unique. It only pops up during pregnancy and usually goes away after the baby is born. But, and this is a big but, it serves as a major warning sign. Having it dramatically increases the risk for developing type 2 diabetes down the road, which is why checking in with your doctor after delivery is so important. Okay, so understanding the types is one thing, but it's even more important to get why managing blood sugar is so critical. This is the why this all matters part of our conversation. Here's the deal. The real danger of diabetes isn't just about how you feel day to day. It's about the slow, silent damage that high levels of glucose do to your blood vessels over time. It's like a slow-motion poison to your entire circulatory system, from the biggest arteries all the way down to the tiniest capillaries. And that blood vessel damage, it's not one single problem. It's a cascade of potential disasters. It can lead to retinopathy, which is the leading cause of blindness in adults. It can cause nephropathy or kidney failure, painful nerve damage called neuropathy, and maybe most critically, it massively increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. The stakes are incredibly high. So with risks that serious, how do you fight back? Well, that brings us to our final section, the playbook. This is all about how you go from a diagnosis to daily control, and how you turn this serious challenge into something manageable. First things first, a diagnosis isn't just a hunch. It's a very specific process, using one of these 4 lab tests. What's kind of cool is that each test gives a slightly different view of what's going on with your body's sugar metabolism. That's why doctors will often want to confirm a result with a second test, just to be absolutely sure.
Now let's zoom in on this one number, because it's a biggie, 6.5%. An A1C of 6.5% or higher is a key number for a diabetes diagnosis. But what does it even mean? It's not just a snapshot of your blood sugar at one moment in time. It's way more powerful. It's like a highlight reel of your blood sugar over the last 2 to 3 months.
Think of it like this. Your red blood cells are floating around in your bloodstream, right? When there's a lot of sugar in there, some of that sugar literally sticks to them. It sugarcoats them. So an A1C of 6.5% just means that 6.5% of your red blood cells are coated in sugar. It's an amazing tool because it gives your doctor a long-term average, smoothing out all the daily ups and downs. For many people, especially those with type 1, managing diabetes involves taking insulin. But as you can see here, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are all these different types that work on different timelines. And that variety is the key. It lets doctors mix and match to create a totally custom plan, using fast-acting stuff to cover your meals and long-acting ones to keep you stable in the background. And this is a huge but. While you're so focused on keeping blood sugar from going too high, it's really easy to overshoot and have it go too low. This is called hypoglycemia, and it is the most common and most immediate danger of insulin therapy. It needs to be taken seriously. Knowing these early warning signs is absolutely mission critical. Feeling shaky, getting sweaty, suddenly feeling super anxious or hungry, maybe a little confused or irritable, these are your body's alarm bells telling you that your fuel tank is running empty and you need to act, and act fast before it becomes a real emergency. And that's where having a simple plan comes in. It's called the Rule of 15, and it's a lifesaver. Step 1, get 15 grams of fast-acting carbs in you, like a small glass of juice. Step 2, wait 15 minutes. Step 3, check your blood sugar again. It's a clear, simple, and reliable way to handle a low and stop it from getting worse. So when you boil it all down, from spotting those first warning signs all the way to knowing the Rule of 15, managing a condition like diabetes is all about empowerment through knowledge. It's about taking something that seems scary and complex and turning it into a series of clear, manageable steps. And that kind of leaves us with one last question for you to think about. Are you truly empowered with the information you need to take charge of your own health journey?